Well, I'm the Director of the Life, Marriage and Family Office for the Melbourne Archdiocese. I've been married to my wife Julie for 18 years and we've got 6 children. The eldest is 15, the youngest is 4, so it's pretty crazy and busy at our house. In thinking about how we respond to the plenary, it seems to me it's a little bit like an orchestra. If it's just Matt singing any old note that Matt wants to sing and every Tom, Dick and Harry doing the same kind of thing, well, it's probably just going to be a great cacophony. But if I listen first to the note that God gives me, if I really listen to what He's saying to me, it's not going to be exactly the same as what the person next to me is saying, but if we're both in tune with God, there'll be a magnificent harmony, and what we'll get is something like a grand symphony. So I think it's really important to listen to the great conductor, and then we'll get something really magnificent out of this. One thing that occurs to me is the importance of having a plenary council now. I think back just 25 years, to when I was in my late teens, early 20s. The world is just such a different place. There was no internet then. There was no Tinder. These kinds of things the church is having to contend with that it didn't have to contend even with when I was growing up. So it really is an important time for the church to be considering how do we approach issues around marriage and family in a world where things have changed so much. Most of us, if we really believe the church's teaching, are really swimming against the tide. That wasn't the same 25, 30 years ago. We're in a different situation now. And so how do we equip ourselves? How do we understand our place in the world, which is quite different to what it was not so far back in the past. As a parent with children whose ages range from 4 up to 15, the way in which they approach their faith is quite different. The younger children are enthusiastic and they love it, and the older children, well, maybe they'd rather not be going to Mass at times. And so their perspective on, well, what's right or what's going wrong, in the church will be quite different. I think it's important that teenagers are heard, and if there are things that we're doing that aren't helpful or conducive to them being able to actively participate and engage in what's going on in the life of the church, then we need to listen to it. But likewise, that innocence and that enthusiasm of young children needs to be heard as well. Both of those things we need to draw out.